When you film it on location and it's nighttime and the moon's out and amazing sets, that sort of does so much of the imaginative work for you always, doesn't it?
So we were lucky to have done it that way round.
Yeah.
So when you come in here and there's a little bit of patch of grass and a machine making the snow, and you remember what you did 2 weeks ago.
In the scene that I'm just about to do, the first scene of the day, I'm supposed to look dead because I've just come off the train crash.
Still on the stage. Snow.
From a makeup point of view, that scene follows on from a scene that we did in Laycock, where it's snowing on the little boy and they were supposed to think he's dead. So suddenly they see that the little snowflake has melted and they know that he's still warm and he's alive. And we just used a sort of polythene bag, pumped de-icer into it, sprayed water on the top, and it came into little icicles, and put it on his lip, and hey presto.
I have to hold a little mirror over his mouth and we see that it gets frosted up and that there is breath, that he is alive. The wrangler of the misted mirror just sort of was told, can you make it a small piece of breath, like a little circle of breath? So then I turn around and I give him the mirror, and he's just sort of invented this thing, cutting a hole in the bottom of a polystyrene cup. I mean, it's just brilliant. And he's just sort of, I said, have you ever done that before? He said, no, I haven't done that. Just amazing sort of instant solutions, and you get a little perfect little circle of breath.
Too heavy. Way too heavy.
Just keep it running. We were taking snow effects and smoke effects, and we were actually filming various types of snow and smoke. And then later on, the visual effects people would take those parts and then resize them and then put them into the frame. If you shoot enough different elements that are enough different sizes and different textures and different types, it then gives them a broad palette to be able to take all of those and then change them and do what they want with them, actually. So it's quite useful.
We're wearing the same clothes that we wore in the first series, and so that's extraordinary. So the continuum is there, that the detail that adds and makes the texture just thicker and thicker and thicker.
Every button, every piece of fabric, stuff that, I mean, you don't see much of this shirt because I normally wear a coat and everything on top of it, but the work in it is extraordinary.
Look at me here. I haven't got my bow done up. Here we go. That's a bit risque, that.
You can ring the changes with these pieces of lace, and it's actually rather wonderful, isn't it?
I normally wear
sort of know that you can change your
something different.
shape.
I normally wear a fichu here, but I got my lunch down the front of it, so wardrobe had to take it away and wash it.
This costume tells you how to stand. You know, it really helps you. There were a couple of extras slouching along in a very modern way in these costumes, and it looked so hideously wrong. These youngsters didn't know any better. Come on, man, brace up. It's Victorian times.
I just begged at the ball at the end. I could have some new mittens. Not at all. I had my old mittens and get on with it. So we were very spiteful if anyone had a new dress.
Pay attention, Miss Bell. Amelia will put you through your paces next.
But I cannot play. I've never had a lesson.
Oh, go on. This piano expects rough treatment.
Very often you see people playing an instrument, like very often the piano, and they may not be able to actually play it themselves, but they must seem as if these actors are actually playing.
Well, this is my mobile, not my mobile phone, but my mobile piano. This is to accompany Julia in her brilliant singing. I don't know whether you recognise that, but it is actually the first, that's the introduction. But you have to bang it really, really quite hard. But I do know some of the notes, and that's the first bit I know.
As I was a walking.
Cranford, like many of the period novels, is set in the 19th century, and of course that's before the days of television, radio, film, all these things that we take for granted. And what did they do to amuse each other and themselves is they played.
I was asking, would I know this song? And the chances are, yes, I would. It was a sort of song of the time, although this has been specially written by Carl Davis, which is a beautiful song. The last time I did this faking, I had to play Jacqueline Dupre's mother, who was a concert pianist, and nobody said anything, so let's hope I can do it again.
Well, I've always had a huge crush on Tim Curry, since I saw him in Amadeus.
The 1, 2, and the 3, and the 4. Ecco! Grazie, grazie.
I'm playing Signor Brunoni.
I'm magic consultant, and I've been tutoring Tim in magic.
Simon Curtis, the director, gave me a box set of Cranford, and I went back to where I was staying, and the next day I saw it all the way through in one sitting, and then I just went back to play. I saw it twice in a row. I was obsessed with it. I called my agent and I said, if they ever do a Cranford 2, I want you to beg. I don't care. I want to be in it.
Look in your reticule. In your reticule.
It was about presentation and sort of brio and bravura. And I could do that.
As I said to you, many magicians in a lifetime wouldn't have had your timing with it. You sort of had a natural timing with doing the magic.
Well, that's nice.
If Madame will permit.
We had this wonderful dove, who I christened Gladys privately, who was very, very kind and a remarkable actress, actually.
I think she took to you because sometimes doves, they can not like somebody and want to fly away from them.
Really?
And she seemed pretty calm. So
Yes.
that was a good. I think that was a good omen.
It was the charisma, you see.
He had something like 2 days with us, and the ghastly thing was that it was in front of the whole company. We were all sitting there, so we were his audience. He was fantastic.
To be doing magic tricks in front of all these storied artistes was a bit scary. But I got over it. And just, delivered my usual 300 pounds of condemned ham.
And now, a moment of light, as it was when the world began.
I do believe that is a waltz. Have you heard of waltzing?
It is not a form of dance we have experienced in Cranford. When it comes to dancing, it takes a long, long time. There are long dance rehearsals.
They are rehearsing a waltz, which at that time had only just sort of come into being up in the north of England, and it was a very new dance at the time. I've been rehearsing that with the actors. I've got 10 couples, and they're all named part actors, and they've had to learn quite a long dance with not very much rehearsal, but anyway, they managed quite well. Try and just keep your arms down and don't let them rise up too much. So you're going to waltz forward on the right, 1, 2, 3, back on the left. Now the men, you stay where you are, and you go back. You're going to bring the woman on this side round you onto the other side. She'll move on. It's the first time that a man and a woman had turned to face each other and taken each other in each other's arms, and it caused a massive scandal. It's very much a dance that is linked into a new world. The world of the train, the world of industry, machinery, there's revolving, and beginning to see them cut off from each other. They're just a couple, cut off from everybody else. And then in this dance, you'll see at a certain point they open out into a circle, so they're suddenly a community. You see them as a community. It's quite a metaphor for the piece.
Jonathan Pryce is a huge character. I've longed to work with him. But he is, of course, quite tall. It's quite difficult to get he and I in the same shot. I think Mr. Buxton may just danced a waltz in Cranford.
How can a town survive so much?
Mr. Buxton.
What?
It's life.
Oh, no.
Mr. Buxton is the final word.
Just do this without the music, just to see who you get up with. You don't mind? Shall I say right?
So right, and left, right, left.
Yes, well, we started off very early this morning with one of the actors who was unable to come to the rehearsal up to this point. So he had to learn the dance from scratch this morning at 8:30. And then bit by bit more actors arrived in costume ready to rehearse. And then we filmed it. And surprisingly, I think it's very nice and the actors look good and they're making their relationships in the dance. Because really it's about the people in the dance and their relationships. I think it looks really nice.
I do believe, Mr. Buxton, we have danced a waltz in Cranford.
How can a town survive so much?
Love, Mr. Buxton. It is the final word.